Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste and welcome everyone to Satsang today. Sadguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Very good. Let's go to Atma Jyoti. No?
Sorry. My heart is like here. It's just like so bouncing, even hard to breathe. So, maybe that there is something. It's not like I'm gonna drag something like this from last week or just share my experience throughout the week. That in last satsang, during it actually, it was created like. It has created a lot of anger in me, like, which, I'm not stranger to. So I think it's just the pattern of this anger. And when you were like saying, would you give this to God? Would you take it either way? The answer would be yes, always. Like, yes, no matter what you ask me. But then that made me very angry. You asked me those things, and what do you give me in return? And then when you spoke to Georgina, I remember you said, well, maybe not particular to her, but just in general, like maybe you won't receive it for another 2 or 3 lifetimes. And that was just like, oh, okay. No. Made me so mad. And it stayed throughout the week with me and was like coming back to the same things. And I felt such a strong feeling of entitlement. Yes, that's the word. God has to give me this grace. Just like I'm entitled to it. And I don't know, like I do see through it a bit, but it's like I really wanted to share that somehow. Like this is such an entitlement to anything. Like this anger, like I experienced a lot of anger towards God that he maybe didn't give me this or that or enlightenment or just name it. It doesn't matter what's the thing. It's just like this feeling of entitlement. Sorry, I can't pronounce it. And then another thing came up, like, well, I already gave those things to God many, many times. Like, I feel like I'm doing this in my personal life journey. I feel like this is happening for me for the second time when God is asking me to give up. Maybe before it wasn't worded like that, but just life situations came like that. And I was like, it doesn't matter if I live or die, it's fine. And it was really fine. And that's when my spiritual journey and my spiritual experiences started. And now I feel like I'm doing this for the second time. And my own insight into that was like, okay, how do I know that I haven't done it for a million times? Giving my things for God. How do I know? Who am I to know? And I don't know, I just really wanted to share that this entitled human being who wants God and doesn't receive God. Or at least perceives it like that.
Yes. Very good. Very good. I know that you're probably wondering why I'm saying very good, but this is actually very good because this is exactly the kind of intervention that I'm trying to create in satsang, because I'm trying to push everyone out of this self-serving type of spirituality. You see, and the self here being smallest self-serving type of spirituality. Whereas true spirituality demands a complete sacrifice of everything. So it is true that grace cannot be done no matter what you do. So suppose you really loved your age group. Probably suppose you really love Harry Styles or something like that. So, and there's a small chance that if you make dinner for him, Harry Styles may visit your house. You see? So, how many days, or whatever your icon is, whoever you admire the most in the world, so how many days will you take the chance of cooking dinner knowing fully well that he may not come? May not come. So if we can do this for worldly admiration, then how many dinners can we cook and keep ready for God to come? And when do we give up? After how many dinners cooking and God not coming, when do we give up? So this is really the question. And this is when we face our entitlement, like you said, but I have done this. How I've done this over and over. How can you not give me what I want? Because the I, the receiver, the expecting I, is still around, you see. And the lane is too narrow. The lane is too narrow to fit that one, that me and God together. So the whole point of prodding this, provoking this, is so that this one comes into the spotlight, which it is doing in this case, which is very nice. So comes into the spotlight, and to say that I am asking for eternal life, I am asking for the truth, I am asking for God, the highest being, beyond the universe, beyond time and space. So, how many lifetimes of openness entitles us to get that? Infinite also doesn't entitle us. If we kept doing this till the end of time, it doesn't entitle us. So, that's why I want to step aside and try and trample over as much spiritual marketing as possible, where all this notion of do this, then you'll have a lifetime of peace, and then God will bless you with this, and then you'll have bliss, and then this will happen, and all of that will happen. No, it's not about that at all. It is a huge risk. Huge risk. It's asking us, the call of the heart is prodding us to die while we're still alive. It has nothing to do with the death of the body, because that is nothing to do with what I'm saying. But die to ourselves, our ideas, our notions of reality, our knowledge, all those things that we are right about. And even upon this death, what guarantee do we have? None at all. So it is this kind of spirituality which I am drawn to speaking about, where there is no chance for the ego to build a house. So we can determine, just looking at this, saying, what does our will want? What does our individual will want? We want, I have done this, I have been devoted, I have been coming to satsang so long, I have been open and empty, I have been taking myself not to be the doer, everything. I've done everything right. Now, what do I get in return? Nothing. Nothing. And it's not a trick nothing where we say, once we say nothing, then really nothing, then something will come. No, really nothing. Because the offering and the gift are infinitely different from each other. Our mere offerings, which are peanuts, may give the ego the idea that in return for these peanuts, I deserve that which is beyond the universe. But in reality, it's nothing. And that can seem like it's very tough to hear. It's very tough to hear. And that toughness is important because that is the fireplace in which your ego will burn. So I feel I'm done with this airy-fairy, feel-good type spirituality stuff because it's become very, in the world as I see it, it's become very self-serving and selfish and not about God, but about me. So I refer back to Rahimji's quote where he's saying the lane is too narrow to include both God and me. So if it is God, then only God. And if I can empty myself to an extent that it is empty of me, but I still cannot, if there is a me still demanding, saying, I was promised God in the lane, I was promised. Once the me is not there, then God will come. But that is me, no? That is still me, isn't it? Is it? So I want to say that our job is to empty ourselves fully. Empty ourselves fully. And nothing after that. It's not a give and get relationship. Grace is not a reciprocal relationship. Can we come to a point as a Sangha together, we're saying that we've been pointed to whatever seems to be in our control, seems to be being operative there. We've been pointed to whatever seems to be in our control, and that's all that we can do. Everything else is none of our business, none of my business. Otherwise, we will never be able to remove the selfishness from spirituality, the self-serving nature of spirituality, which has become the normal conditioning of tracking our spiritual progress. You know, if you gave up yourself, the false self, is it not worth giving up because it is false in itself? Is that not a good enough deal in itself to give up on the false? So that is to cook the meal for God and keep it ready. And it may go on. Or is the deal that tell me that you will come, only then will I cook for you? Guarantee it to me. Otherwise, let me enjoy falseness. Why should I move out of the false unless I get the gifts of God, the gifts of the discovery of Brahman? This is very good. I'm glad that in this way, although it may seem frustrating, the message is at least hitting home because I would rather that all of us are frustrated in this way, burning the false in the fire of our heart, rather than living in a delusional sort of spirituality, going after, like Guruji says, chocolate flavored moments, saying, oh, it's working because then there's so much joy, there's so much this. It's, I'm finally winning in my life. Finally found a way to win. No, we have to become losers, absolute losers. Hopeless, hopeless, hopeless. Truly hopeless. We must see what we take ourselves to be is completely insignificant. Hopeless, useless, small, nothing. Then maybe we'll stop obsessing about my perceptions, my experiences, my life, my God, my spirituality. The mind is hopeless. So I want to ignite this fire. I want the me to burn in this fire so that we can die while we are still alive. And even that is no guarantee for anything. It's not a quid pro quo. Anyway, we don't have an equal exchange to offer God anyway. See? So in this way, we are burning this fire so that we can get over ourselves. Really, that is the important thing in spirituality. We just have to get over ourselves. It's not about me. It's not about me. It's only about God. Because the lane is too narrow. So that's why also one of the reasons I've been playing this beautiful set of verses from the Sikh tradition, which talks about no tactic. No tactic is going to work. We may try hundreds of different strategies. We have done this, we have learned this, we have meditated this, we have been still for so long, we have stopped our thoughts, we have immersed ourselves in deep love, we have done all of this. But it's all unimportant in the final count. Because to be fully empty of ourselves, even from all these spiritual accomplishments, is really important. And again, I'm saying is really important, and yet is no guarantee. You cannot build any expectation of entitlement. God has no obligation towards you, me, anyone. So then we come into the humility which is truly needed to approach God, to approach the self. No matter how spiritual anyone becomes, nobody will become spiritual enough to be special enough for God. You may spend a million lifetimes of deep spirituality, but that does not make us special enough for God. It will always be God's grace alone. And there's no way what we take ourselves to be can force God's grace. No matter what we add on our spreadsheet of spiritual accomplishments and progress, we can never take that report card to God and say, see, Now you have to come. You have no option. So, emptying of all individual will, including what we think should happen in our spirituality, is the prerequisite to meet God's true will. And we can't manage or juggle both. And I have to also say that the road has been made very simple for us. Very simple. By Guruji's grace and all the influences that we've had that have pointed us so beautifully to this simplicity. Because we can say now, or we can see now, that the only way we can say we are truly in the heart, we are truly being intuitive, is when myself is apparent. And when myself is apparent, then I am not in any waiting or expectation. How many in the world can make a report like this? That I know I'm truly empty, I'm in the heart, because myself is apparent to me. So remain in the apparency of self-knowledge. Remain in your heart. And all the other rubbish which the mind says, forget about it. Because none of this is meant to mean anything to your head. None of this means that you can expect anything. Like you rightly said, none of this means that we are entitled to something. So we stop our spiritual deal making and negotiations with our being, with God. And we come to the true humility of our head being bowed down. Where we cannot dig a hole under the road and hide in it and say, I'm emptying the road. God, you come. See, but I'm watching from there, from the peephole. And when you come, then I will embrace you. These tactics won't work. These tactics won't work. So empty of ourselves. It's not even a patience, although we attempt to use that word, force fit that word here. Empty yourself and we have the patience of eternity. That is the only part, so to speak. If it sounds intimidating, it is because it is. And we must not shy away from that. I don't want to reassure anyone because when it hits us then our reassurance actually becomes a denial. To die to oneself from a mental perspective is the hardest thing that you will ever do. Be ready for it to be the toughest thing that you ever do. And if by God's grace it becomes the simplest thing you ever do, then that is up to God's grace. So empty the lane of yourself, empty the lane. You cannot even hide and watch from a window and say, is God coming? Is God coming? I waited long enough. And we must forget about the past. Just forget about it. But I've done this before and he came or he didn't come. This, that, forget it. All past belongs to the false me. The truth is immediate. We can now determine, all of us, what we want. What we want. At least to ourselves, we can be honest. Until you don't burn that up, all talk of spirituality is just talk. What do we want? What do I want? Light up a fire in your heart and burn it there. As angry, as frustrating, as unreassuring this may sound. It is important to confront our ego in this way. Only one phrase of reassurance I'll offer everyone, which is to remember that that which can burn is not your reality. So empty of individual will, then the mind will ask you, so how do I know that I'm following God's will? If Guru Nanak Ji is saying that to follow his will is the only way to come to the truth and deconstruct the delusion of the false, then how do I know what is God's will? So allow the presence to act on its own. Allow the presence to act on its own, and that's what most of your life will be taken care of in that. There will still come some points where the mind will grab us and say, no, but this you need to decide, you cannot allow. You need to decide. Do I fly here? Do I stay here? Something will be presented as a big call in life that your intervention is needed. God cannot do. God's presence itself cannot do. Your intervention is needed, and we will buy into those ideas from time to time. So what to do about those? Allow that also to remain in our heart and wait for guidance to come. As long as you are allowing the presence to act directly without mental intervention, you're fine anyway. But if you insist that I need an answer, don't rush to the mind, no matter what. Trust God, trust your being. And if silence is that answer for the moment, then accept silence to be the answer. Be careful not to take an opposite position saying, oh, my mind wanted this. So what God wants is the opposite of that. Let me do the opposite. No, that can also, and it's a simple trick then for the mind to play, which is to propose the opposite of whatever it wants. So we cannot automatically assume that the opposite is what we want to do. And some of us are parents, we've done enough of the reverse psychology stuff with our kids to know that that's a simple trick to prove. You do not have to do the opposite of what you want. Don't rush. If you insist that some guidance is needed, then allow it to come to you in whichever form it has to come to you. And if you can doubt whether it is mind or God, then still wait. Remember that you never can waste time in this. The mind will push you and say, you don't have time for this. You have to decide now. This is just not true. It's just not true. In fact, in rushing you, the mind is winning the battle. Because if there is a battle on, it is about time. Moment to moment, we keep postponing our meeting with God. We keep postponing our openness. Maybe because of the spiritual reassurances we may also have now, or previous spiritual experiences we may also have now. So then we say, okay, now I will relent to the mind, but just for a little bit. I will relent to the mind, but just for a little bit. And very soon it's going to be game over. The mind will say, nice try, but no cigar this time. Maybe next time. So I cannot emphasize to all of us enough how urgent this matter is. Because none of us know what the next moment brings. This is the moment where God is palpable to you, yourself is apparent to you. Don't hand it over to the mind. To live in the heart, to live with faith. Simultaneously the easiest and the most difficult thing. Because the instruction is very simple. The instruction is actually very simple. But the submission of our individual will for some time can seem difficult. So we try to fit it into the garb of this is what God must want or will want anyway. We must not do that. We must not rush to the mind, no matter how deep the provocation may seem. So this is the urgency which you can never meet with a rush. You must only meet with a full emptiness, immediate emptiness. Fully open and empty this moment. . Forget the story, forget who you are, who you think you are, why you deserve God, why you had enough of this, why God doesn't listen or did listen in the past. Forget all of this. It's not about you. It never was and it never will be. Something is coming to say which may sound super harsh or strong, but it's coming up soon. That's how it is. God has no interest in assisting you. God has no obligation to assist you. The truth has no obligation to the false. If God would say, I want to uproot you as soon as possible, not help you. It is the uprooting which is auspicious. There are some reports the audio is not great. I'm also whispering. So let's see. I'll speak up a bit. One child asked, Father, you say it's not about you, it's about God. Can you expand on the it's about God part? Also, the sound is not so clear. In fact, that's all I've been saying in this whispering rant that I just had. That's really what I'm saying. God has no interest in you. God is not here to help me. In fact, that is the wrong prayer to make. The prayer always must be, let thy will be done. Not please assist me in my will. It's a very subtle thing, but it's the difference between God and ego. Imagine there is nothing the ego wants more. Imagine that you could decide and God helps you in everything you decide. What a wonderful life. Who doesn't want that? Every ego wants that. So it buys into the notion of spirituality saying, what? The greatest force in the universe, I can just pray to it and say, please help me with this, show me God, give me a relationship, give me money, keep the body comfortable, all this thing. And just by bowing down like this, the greatest force in the universe is there to help me. Won't that be a great deal to me? Thankfully, it's complete nonsense. God is not that unkind, as Guruji has reminded us often. God is not that unkind that he hands over power to the ego like this. Now, I had another very beautiful conversation on WhatsApp with a child today where I said, if it was not God's will, would it happen anyway? And no, it wouldn't happen if it would not be God's will. Then I said, then the only question that remains is, how do we know what is the right path? Because the outcome of whether it happens or not anyway is God's will. So that most of us have come to an acceptance about. That whether something happens or doesn't happen is God's will. Now what we are saying, what most of us say then is let me decide, let me choose. So I decide, okay, what is good for me is that I have this or I don't have this and I want this kind of life. And then we say, okay, now we hand it over and say, if it's God's will, then please try to make it happen. Like that. But what is the right intelligence to even decide what should happen? Do we have that capacity in our mind? Do we have the capacity in our ability to perceive, to be able to make that decision? Can we decide the auspiciousness of what should happen in our heads? So if the outcome we've already handed over to God's will, why can we not hand over what needs to happen also? So we move away from a half surrender, which is not a surrender at all, into the full surrender. Because the half surrender looks like that. God, please, I need this relationship thing to work for me. Please make it. If that is your will. Yeah, if that is your will. But what should happen, we've already concluded. That is not to live in faith. Why would we trust a lesser intelligence to determine what needs to happen? So to live in God's will is to leave the determination of what, how, and when, everything, and whether, all to God. Including our spiritual desire. Including our spiritual desire. Should God come? How do you know that if God came in the brightest light, which you could fathom but not perceive, came right now? How do you know that in the coming right now, you may not become full of spiritual ego? How does anyone know these things? So trust that intelligence which you're already trusting. Most of us are trusting with the outcomes. Then also trust that with the determinations of what needs to happen. Because to play the game the other way is to seek assistance from God, as if God is the servant and we are the master. I will tell God what to do, and if God follows what I tell God, then it's a good God. Otherwise, it's very frustrating God, very angry with God. You see, then it becomes that kind of God. So, on what basis do we trust our intelligence to be able to make those determinations? Isn't it like losing the lottery a million times but continuing to bet on it? Because one day the mind will work, it'll guide me well. If you're going to bet, then bet your whole life on that which you cannot fathom, but is completely apparent to you in your heart. Take one bet and take it fully. No going back. Then bet your entire life till your dying breath on this one bet you've taken. That is the sacrifice that is needed. It's completely irrational, unreasonable, and nothing supported by anything in the realm of perceptions. But your heart is calling you and you know it. You can hide as much from it as you want, but you know it. This is a life of faith. This is the way of the heart. With the way of the heart, you cannot be half-hearted. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for starting us off like this. You want to add something? No. Let's.
Maybe many things were coming in the head while you were speaking, but I don't know. Just in general, maybe I feel like all this, not just like this particular thing, but just in general, this me, such a like an old, stale, like a swamp
Yes.
energy.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
And but it's there, and it's like I still sometimes swim in it, obviously,
It's a familiar hell.
or drown. I don't know.
It's just familiarity makes it feel like it's a comfortable hell. And in the mind, we would rather pick the comfortable hell which is familiar than the great unknown. The great unknown. So even though we recognize it when the me is calling through the head saying, ah, yes, but something tempts us with that because at least we feel like, okay, that I recognize. I've lived through that for a long time. What the master is pointing us to seems too vast, too broad. How can I make sure I can live in a house with no walls? So the unfamiliarity of the unknown, the mind will use as a fear tactic. And then all the frustration, he doesn't answer properly, he doesn't tell us what is going to happen, what should I do, what should I not do, all that stuff can happen. But that's exactly what we're trying to chop away. Chop away. Because you take this bet with not a guarantee of winning. And that is what is the mind's reason for frustration. You're asking me to bet my life while I continue to live. You're asking me to bet my life, but you're not saying what is going to happen. Will I become enlightened? Will I start sharing satsang? Will I become famous? Will I live in bliss all the time? Nothing. No guarantee about anything. So only those who are crazy enough to take this bet, only those who are crazy enough to take this bet are being invited to take this bet. The rest can hear this like music or whatever, it's fine. Because to your head, this is the stupidest thing you could ever do. You want to bet everything that you write on, everything that you built up so far, every thing that you think you have or will have. Some strange guy comes and asks you to bet everything in return for that to the mind, that which to the mind sounds like nothing.
I don't know. Today I feel like I'm just quite the opposite. Like the things are still like there is willingness to bet, but there's not, I don't know what it is even.
What I'm trying to say is that it doesn't matter.
I don't know. That's what it's like. It doesn't matter. There's no one, like seriously, there's no one to bet or not bet. And I'm not just saying I'm here. Somehow it's somewhere it's like okay.
You
But
cannot.
it's not like okay, if I can't bet or not bet, choose or not choose, so I'm not gonna choose, and God will do. Not in that way. No, but like
Cannot be frustrated unless we want something. A non-desirous frustration does not exist.
so maybe then I don't know why I'm frustrated. Like what I don't know what to ask, how to ask, what I want to ask. Like
Yeah. You said that what made you angry was that there is no guarantee that God will come.
yes, but then that's what I mean. That was like more. Sometimes there is, sometimes there's no. Sometimes there's just complete peace, let's say. And then some things come up like that, and they just like seem like take the whole being and the whole,
Yes.
the whole like me. What this becomes very, very strong.
So if I said to you that either state, if it comes, doesn't come, it doesn't matter. Because it's not about you.
Oh no, you have to repeat.
See, so we say, okay, the contrast of states, sometimes it's just pure peace, it's just beingness, sometimes there's just so much me. Unimportant. Give it up.
No, yes. Okay. Right. Right now. Okay.
Yes, give it up.
Even this, no, let me be clear, this fluctuation of that. That's what you're
Is
asking.
happening to you, what you think is happening to you, and what is happening to you is unimportant.
Right now it feels important, but in general, I know that it's not important.
Unimportant. What you think about it, what you feel about it, whether it's feeling important right now, it's unimportant.
Okay. I can't fight anymore. I can't fight with anything. So okay, whatever. Okay.
A fight would imply that you want something. What do you want? What would you fight for?
Some imaginary fights with imaginary myself. With
Yeah. Yes. And what side are you on in this fight?
no side right now.
Tricky, it's tricky, is it? So sometimes it can be round and round. So 1 minute it's like, I'm tired of fighting. That's the fight. So this sort of guerrilla warfare can happen sometimes. But notice when you say, I can't do this anymore. I just can't do this anymore. Inherent in that belief is an expectation or an idea of what we want. Because how can we fight or not fight anymore unless there are sides to pick, unless there is individual will? So we are entering very subtle realms of subtleties in the mind. And they are all being uprooted or burnt in the fire.
I hope so.
Very good. Very good. You know, there's a fatherly part of this expression which just wants to reassure all of you so much. To reassure all of you so much. Like, don't worry, my child. I'll take care of you. So I'm kind of half saying in that pretext, I've half said it. Because I don't want it to become super reassuring. All this fire that I've built up, I'll have to start again.
I know. I know. And I remember once maybe while in Bangalore, I remember telling you like no matter the cost.
Yes.
And sometimes I really regretted those words. I don't know why. It stuck with me. So, Father, no matter the cost, eventually.
Very good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. That's the bet. That's exactly the bet. Very good.
And I hope you know I mean it.
No matter what the cost is, no matter the cost. Say again, my dear, last part.
And I mean it.
Yes. Okay.
Even maybe there will be times when I will regret it.
Of course, of course. I don't feel like there's anyone in spirituality who truly bets their life on God, doesn't have a moment or two of regret. It's part of the game. Don't worry, it's okay.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. I feel like we're done. It's only 6:16.
One of those Satsang you told us they don't go to the temple to ask.
Yes.
The true reason to go to the temple is to rid yourself of every desire. That's the only place it is.
You go to sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
Not to get something from God.
It's really like just switch the whole approaching.
Changes the whole paradigm.
Yeah, because initially, okay, as a child, I said, okay, I want this.
Louder, so
I said, as a child, you said, I want to be with this or this. And now you felt superior for asking that, okay, you do come in line, whatever. Now you're saying, now you give everything.
of course, because what tool do we have to determine what should happen to us or for us?
See today,
All right, let's go to Shraddha.
Namaste, Father.
Namaste.
I just wanted to bring this fear that's come up into our satsang. And I just notice it's not a matter of asking you, like, make it go away. Like, no, like, add more wood, I'm here for it. I just noticed there's such a strong urge when it comes to distract. And I just feel to ask for the grace to have the courage to just, I mean, it's just fear. It's just something, it's just another shape being taken in this.
Thank you.
And yet there's just a very strong avoidance that comes, you know.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you so much. I can't tell you how useful this question is, because I feel in my heart so much to share this point with you. That as this burning, this fire is being created in Satsang, in this Sangha, you see, there will come things, even spiritual sounding things, which will offer seeming relief to us. You see, something will come and say, but all this stuff he's saying, hand it over to God, take the big bet. He's saying that you are the doer. Actually, there is nothing to do. Just chill out. Because what have we learned in Advaita, if anything? That there is no doer. And that's exactly what I'm saying. But I'm getting you to confront the individual will, which can hide behind the notion of non-doership also very conveniently. And it can be a very comfortable sort of, oh, there's no doer here, so it's okay. You know, this kind of spirituality. So these distractions will come. And for a while, it will seem like so much relief. Whew. What is this talk about? Burning everything and betting everything. There's no doer here. The truth is, there's no doer. So conveniently, we get back to our individuality and individual will in the defense of something very spiritual sounding. You see? So thank you for asking this question, although it wasn't directly this, but really a lot of things will come. The best relationship will show up, the best things will show up, you see? Or something will just start falling apart and something will say, no, first you need to fix that. Then you can come back to this. You see, but no, this is super urgent. This is the most important project you have right now. Nothing is more important. And if something seems more convenient and a simpler sort of spirituality where you can say, oh, but at least like I'm feeling peaceful right now, and I don't have to jump without knowing how to jump, and I don't have to, meet all these pointings of bet everything and no risk, no faith, all this kind of stuff. Just retreat to some practice which makes me peaceful. That is why it is important to remember that if something can burn, it must be burned. It must not be hidden away anymore. The truth cannot be burned. So if the false is burning, must we step away from the fire or jump in completely? If something has found the scent of our falseness, if our master has found the scent of our falseness and now is setting it on fire, all these distractions in Maya will come. That is the nature of this world for millions of years. That every distraction in Maya will come and say, come, I've got something easier. No, none of this betting business and this jump business. And it's okay, we'll be comfortable. What is this about? It's about peace. Why you want to burn? Come, we'll be peaceful. Chant this thing like 100,000 times and you'll be just fine. Not that there's anything wrong with chanting, but you know what I'm saying. So any distraction, either in the garb of spirituality or in the garb of anything else in the world, which may seem to provide some relief from this burning, remember this question: what can burn? What can burn? Can the true burn? Can truth burn? And this is the number one time in which the mind can attract you out of satsang like this. Because it will say, too much, he's going too far. I like the mellow Ananta from a few months ago, where we confirm our awareness. That was good enough. With all this faith, with all this self-sacrifice and faith business and trust and devotion and all that. I thought I was done with all of that. And that is why I'm giving you a stick to hold on to, which is what can burn. If you are getting frustrated, if you are getting angry, if you're feeling that something is shaking you up, who is that you that can be shaken up? Who is in the fire right now? Who wants to come back to a comfortable spirituality? And I promise you that that comfortable spirituality is a comfortable hell. So let the burning, I actually plead with all of you to let this burning happen. Don't get distracted. Don't get diverted. It's a very rare fire which is burning, especially in this collective way. Continue to burn in that. If there is a morsel of trust that remains in this expression, that you still continue to have in this expression, this is the time that you stay, don't run. Especially when the burning and the frustration, anger, like the previous child reported, all of this is happening. Let it burn, knowing that only the false can be burned. Actually, something here wants to speak so strongly that I don't even want to offer that reassurance that only the false can be burned. Now I've reassured that enough. But really, not even with hanging on to that branch. Follow your heart. Your heart is guiding you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing this up. This is very important. Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go to Shivoham. Namaste.
Namaste. Hello, Ananta-ji. Hello, Father. Yeah, what you said is all this reassurance thing and reassurance.
What
And
is
this,
the second word? Reassurance?
sorry?
What is the second term you used?
No, well, it was the same. I was trying to say the same thing.
Reassurance
and also this kind of comfortable spirituality, you say, no?
Yes.
Yes, I see that somehow this clinging to the side, to the peace, or to I'm seeing now also that the one who wants that is still the same one, no?
Yes.
Yeah, and the caprice to want that back or something, or to
what is that? The caprice. What is caprice?
Caprice is
deviousness.
The deviousness, like deviousness.
No, the caprice, capriccio in Italian. I don't know.
Also helping.
the winging,
Okay, rephrase. Let's hear it in some other way. It's fine.
Well, it doesn't matter that much, but
the whim, she's saying, the whim. I see. Like the whim to me sounds like a slight will, like the will, like a.
No, it's more the what I was trying to say is that this kind of the mind
preference, wanting something. Okay.
Yes, the mind crying to get something back,
Like a child.
and because what happened is that I was during a long time somehow I was feeling this connectedness with God or something, or I did this. Yeah. But what I'm seeing now is that still this relationship between.
Yeah, I want to tell you, it doesn't matter. As harsh as it may sound.
Yeah, please.
It doesn't matter. It's unimportant. It's not about you.
Yeah.
That leaves who?
Sorry?
That leaves who? Once I don't matter, or who I take myself to be doesn't matter. What remains? Is it a feeling? Is it a perception? Is it something in the body? Is it an experience of joy, bliss? All of that doesn't matter. Without all of this, what remains? If you did not have the job to check how you're doing, what progress you're making, whether you're open, you're closed, you're resisting, what feeling is coming, nothing. Did not have the job to bother with any of this. Then what remains?
I don't know.
It's good. This is better. This is better. It's better than knowing the false about the unimportant one. Because this is to lay out the table for God. Because if you already know, then where is the space for God to come? If you already have a narrative saying this was happening, now this is happening, but then then there's no room for God. Now you don't know. You don't know is the space for God to come. In our emptiness, in our not knowing, in our absence of being right about anything, we set the dinner table for God. Now don't check what is happening to you because it's unimportant.
Yeah.
Once you have surrendered, then how does it matter what is happening? You see, because what happens is when we make a report saying, okay, this is resistance, this is closeness, this is openness, I was like this, we are actually only exhibiting without realizing our individuality.
Yeah.
what we want, what we don't want. Our individual will gets represented and gets a narrative in this way. So to empty ourselves from that is to empty the lane for God. And we cannot expect or set a timeline for God to come. Risk it. Risk it. Even if the odds are 1 in a gazillion, risk it.
Even if
the odds are 1 in, I was saying gazillion, but 1 in a trillion or something, risk it. Take the risk. This is the lottery worth buying. Even if the mental odds of meeting God may be so small that we cannot even expect that to happen. Risk your emptiness at all costs. You see, my child, so what happens is that I'm just trying to shake you out of a spirituality which is about you.
yeah. Yes. Yes, it seems that I keep coming back to this point.
Not important.
Yeah.
It's not about you.
Yes.
Where you come doesn't matter. What's happening to God? Tell me about God. Tell me about the self. If the game is to get over ourselves, then will the emphasis on what is happening to me help us win this game or lose this game?
Yeah. Lose it.
Yes. And we don't realize it because our spiritual conditioning itself has taught us to look for these benchmarks.
Mm.
Whereas all the benchmarks that are designed even in spirituality have nothing to do with God. They only have to do with me. So we cannot even truly call it a spirituality. If you have sacrificed yourself or surrendered yourself, then why are we checking on what's happening to you?
Yeah.
Or is the surrender and sacrifice a way to make ourselves better in some way? Now that I surrender to God, therefore then I should be more peaceful, I should not resist, I should be more accepting. This was the I we surrendered. So this I has to return back into the heart. What's happening to God? And don't let your mind come in here and say, nothing ever happened to God. So what kind of question is that? I'm really saying, check in. What's happening to God? Is he with you or no? Is God's light with you or no?
I don't know. At the moment, I don't know.
Let's find out, because that is the more important thing than knowing anything else.
So,
See? The false knowing that the mind offers to us is a distraction away from the true knowing which you're being pointed to. So to lose the idea that God is here is only the product of the hypnosis of the mind, isn't it?
yeah.
So let's return to that truthfulness. And all the tools are there with you. You can check whether you can stop being now. Are you being? Is your presence here? Is being here?
Yeah.
That is something that is important. Everything else so far was unimportant. God is here. My being, my presence is God's presence. It is not an individual presence. Now that is important.
Is that somehow there is a kind of
Okay, now whatever you are going to say, let's pause for a moment.
yeah.
God is here. Now what else can be important in relation to that? Is it possible to desire for God plus something? God and I want to have God. See? Which you have because you confirm it. God is here. But, and then, when, who, where, all these questions, how are they still relevant? God is here. It's not just Advaita speak. God is here. How can there be a but after that? You see, because God then has been co-opted into our dictionary. You see? But God,
Yes.
that we have the ability to confirm presence. That is the most awe-inspiring thing. The unfathomable presence, the unperceivable reality, light of God. I can confirm it, you can confirm it. What a beautiful conversation. What a rare conversation. So this is when the trickster comes and says, yes, but this has happened with me before, but it goes away. God is here. There are people who have spent a million lifetimes trying to get a glimpse of God. And we can confirm it. Is that not the greatest blessing, the greatest gift possible? Unless we doubt that we are only thinking that God is here, or the God that we are meeting, we don't really allow ourselves to dip into its reality, and we feel like, yes, but this God, is not enough and doesn't really stay. Is this really what I'm looking for? You see, this kind of. Well,
Yes.
otherwise, I can't repeat this often enough. God is here. God is here. It's not just words. It's not poetry. It's not. It's not even invoking. It is confirming. What else can stand up in importance to this? The timeless one, the light of the universe, is here. How can we be concerned about, oh, this is happening, that is happening, when will this stop? Will it stay forever? It is here. What power must it be that hypnotizes us so much that we feel like something else is also relevant in the presence of God?
Yeah. And is
Okay, say it. I won't say it's unimportant. Say it. Say it.
well, it's just is absurd somehow, and this display of clarity, not clarity, and
Yeah.
and I don't know what to say. This is it's just
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just mind speaking, of course. It's just
But don't accept that, my dear. The project
yeah.
is more urgent than that. You see? The project is more urgent than that. We cannot now hide behind. I do recognize that it is the mind speaking, but
Yeah.
still, there's no time for but still now.
But yeah.
You recognize it. If you did not recognize it, I maybe could give you more leeway. Your God's presence is palpable to you. You
But
recognize the voice of the mind, and yet with the little but still, see, I know it is the mind, but still, see, which means what? There is still some hope that what it could be saying could be true. Please become more hopeless than that. This is the hypnosis of the mind which says, yes, it's the mind, but still, little value I want to give to it. No, zero value. Once you see it as the mind, it is gone, finished. This is my invitation to jump. Jump to a different way. Jump to the way of the heart. Don't try to juggle both. Just give it up. Jump out of the old way. Jump out of the old way internally. It is not about changing anything in life, but inwardly it's a complete shift. You don't need the evaluation of your mind. You don't need the judgments of your mind. You don't need to conclude what is happening to you. It is not about you. Surrender yourself fully to God. And you have no excuse because you find God immediately. Don't try to be friends with both the head and the heart. Don't try to even say, okay, now I will give it 2% value to my head and 98 to my heart. This is a all or nothing game, which can be played only moment to moment. It doesn't matter how much back and forth, how much switching, all of that, nothing, but 100% now. 100% now. 100% now. To bathe in the Ganga of the heart where all your sins are wiped clean is a complete truth, but the offer expires now. You cannot postpone it anymore. You cannot say, I will give 2 more minutes to my mind because it's been my friend for so long, because my heart is always going to be with me anyway. No, the offer expires now. Everything is wiped clean. And when I say sins, I'm only talking about the mistake of choosing the head over the heart. There is no other sin in the way I use the term.
Yeah.
So all of that errors and picking the head over heart, picking ego over God, it's all wiped clean instantly, but not if you don't take the offer now. You cannot save it up for tomorrow. You cannot say, yes, I see it as the mind, but still, because you have the power, you have the presence. All that is mine is yours. All that is mine is yours, and it's for all of you. So if I can say, I bet my life on God's presence, I will live this life in God's light, and whatever the mind may say and whatever the cause may be, then the faith and the trust that is here to say that is also for you. What is the Father's is also the child. And I'm really, this instrument is showing up in front of you just to show you your possibility, your potential of doing this. But you have to carry it like a fire in your heart and a sword in your hand, and cannot be meek in front of the mind. To be meek in front of the mind is to bow in front of the wrong one. Bow down to your heart and be a warrior to your head. Not the other way around. Not anger and frustration with the heart and bowing down to the head. A thought is just a thought. There is no other tool that the mind can use. It can only come and say, now this is happening to you. When will it stop? That's the only tool it has, but it has a hypnosis. You see, it has this attractive characteristic, especially to the identities that we have nurtured. But I give you my power, I give you my strength in every way to see it for what it is and to stick to your heart. So stay with your heart. Do you want to progress spiritually or you want God? Because if you want to progress spiritually, then the mind will give you enough things which will call you in and hypnotize you. If you only want God,
Yeah.
then nothing can pull you in.
Yeah, I see that somehow this this, like, I can talk.
Okay.
But yeah, what you're saying, I see that attachment, or the I was doing well. No, somehow yes, and this is falling apart. This can't be.
Yes, the stories where we are doing well are the most difficult to let go.
And some, can I say this
Yes.
somehow? This, because I feel that I feel this again. I keep feeling this trap thing, but I feel that somehow this, I need to face this. I need to, because this I need to surrender this.
Okay. Let's
Yeah.
use this as a live experiment. Now
Yeah.
you concluded that what you want is that you want to face this or to surrender it.
It's coming up again because it needs to be seen more deeply somehow, or I don't know, or it
What
needs
you
to.
want is to see it more deeply somehow. No? Whatever you say,
Yeah.
what you want. Now let that go.
Okay.
Now stay in your heart. And if there is guidance from there in terms of what should happen or what you want, then just follow that. And if there is no guidance like that, then just live in the light of God. You don't have to trouble yourself with anything. Even your spiritual will is just your individual will. See, what I mean is that will, which is dependent on your spiritual ideas, is still your individual will. It is not to follow God's will. It is not to say, let thy will be done. So when we empty ourselves, this is what I mean. We may have the most glorious spiritual idea and we say, this is what needs to be done. You see? But whose idea is it? Is it God in your heart pushing you that way? Then yes, all
I don't know,
means
because
so unwaveringly. But if it is in your head, then it's still a distraction from your head. Because how do you know? Maybe that part of the project is already done. You've already painted that part of the painting. How do you know? Which tool in you tells you the truth about what you are and what needs to be done, if anything? So, and this is the way in which the mind can pose. Because I'm saying God is here. You are saying, but I have to face this something. Both are sounding spiritual. So what to follow? So at the risk of sounding immodest, I'm going to say that till you get guided from your heart, follow the master.
Yeah.
Because the mind will trick you as if it's a great spiritual advisor.
but I was following my heart, and now I'm trapping this again.
This
I'm
is
following this. I'm following this voice right now.
yes, I could tell with the. It's good to observe it with that much distance is also enough. This much distance is also enough. Where you see the comedian,
Yeah.
now when you imitate it like that, I am not worried because now you already see it as the comedian that it is. You see, when you take it seriously, then you are different. You see, then you sound as if, oh, well, I have to. Then you're not seeing it as comedy anymore. That is when I have to chop. But the minute you can make fun of it, I know you're out of the clutches. Unless that itself becomes a habit. For some, that itself becomes a habit. Oh, now my mind is saying this, it's so funny. Now my mind, it's a sort of comfortable way to still give it some value. But if I spot that, I'll tell you. But right now, you're fine. Did you want God from spirituality or no?
Sorry,
What did you want from spirituality? God
what did I want?
from spirituality. I'm presuming it's God. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. Maybe I started because I was feeling bad or something,
Yeah.
Now, yeah, somehow the
Okay, but now is it not clear to you that spirituality is about God? And you're still here. No?
yeah.
You see, because sometimes the mind will trick us also that I didn't come for this, actually, I came for something else. But okay, you could have come for whatever. Nobody
No,
knows.
but yeah, but of course yeah, that yes, yes.
Yes, exactly.
It became more clear that I'm here for God. It
Yes,
is,
very good. Now God is here. Why are you not celebrating? This is what I'm asking. Like, how can it get better than this? How can it get better than this? God. This is where the trickster will come. He'll say, yes, God is here, but will he stay? But I've had this before and it goes away. But God is here. We deny ourselves the presence of the greatest blessing of God's presence because the mind inserts time into it. It inserts a narrative into it. And you see what a subtle yet powerful trick it is. So now if the mind comes and offers you things, just chop it. Chop it up. Don't but steal it. Chop it.
can I say it?
Yeah.
Because yeah, the presence of God.
Yeah.
Was
Was
no, well, because it's not a feeling, but somehow, yes, I get used to something that is not here now. But I sorry to speak like that.
okay.
And so, yeah, but it's all is, yes, I'm buying to the idea of mind again, that there is something that I need to see or to feel. This I see.
Yeah. We have to organize something so you come to Bangalore.
Yes.
Let's be in touch about this. Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. But as soon as you can. I feel like it'll be good if you come. Let's talk more on this. I feel like I want you to come again.
Can I say, just because somehow it seems that life is it brings me here again, no? In this house, in this with my girlfriend, and that somehow, yeah. Please.
You can also come. Can she not come also?
Yes.
Let's see how we can.
Yes, let's yeah. Please.
Have you also been hearing the Monday and Wednesday, the audio recordings? Some of you are hearing.
I'm sorry.
Some of you are also hearing some of the audio recordings that are coming from the Wednesday
Yeah.
and Monday meeting.
Yeah.
So,
And listening to them.
yeah, but come. I feel it'll be good if you come.
Yes. Let's do it. Yeah.
Do it. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know when, but yeah, in the next few months, I am coming.
Very good. Very good.
Thank you.
Because you know what's happening in Bangalore. Upala just said, "What? I'm relentlessly butchering the mind."
I'm.
Relentlessly butchering the mind.
Yeah.
He coined one name for me a few years ago, saying, "I'm the butcher of Bangalore." I'm added to that. He's saying, "I'm relentlessly butchering them." So I'm the relentless butcher of Bangalore, apparently, and that's a good thing. I'm taking it as a compliment.
Yeah.
So come.
Yes.
If that sounds attractive to you,
Yes. I actually I feel that I had no other wish somehow that to be with you or to be with my master. I need this. I need somehow. I need this time to spend this time with you. Like, the physical presence. I feel this because I don't know.
it'd be good.
Yeah.
Saying she'll be back soon. So maybe you can fly with her. We'll see. We'll be in touch about this.
Yes. 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 Yes.
One wants to ask a practical question. Father, practical question for the ones who traveled recently. Anyone flew with a COVID certificate? Did you have to have COVID certificate? We had to have when we came from Europe a few weeks back, but nobody checked when we landed here. But yes, I feel like we had to have.
No, you have to COVID certificate or 78-hour PCR negative.
So either COVID certificate or 72-hour negative COVID test report.
Vaccination certificate.
Vaccination. Either the vaccination certificate or the negative test report.
Yeah.
From Anyone who flew with COVID certificate? COVID means vaccination certificate, yes? I unmute you one second.
Hello, Father.
Oh, yeah. Is that the airport lounge or what is it?
No, I had to sleep in Lisbon for a night, and I'm in the hotel. The flight is at 8:30. I do have a COVID vaccination certificate from a vaccine that I took in April, and I'm not sure if I can fly with it or I need a PCR test as well. So I was wondering if you guys use a vaccination certificate like a European Union digital certificate.
I'm just checking with Peter.
It's just changing flights is quite expensive. So and I really want to be in Bangalore, not in Lisbon.
Yes. We'll just get his answer. Yes.
You need a full vaccination circle. That means 3 vaccinations in Europe. So that's it.
You have the full vaccination, like completion certificate, or no?
I have a certificate from Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is 1 dose required. I haven't done any boosters, but I have a COVID certificate.
Should be all right. Should be all right.
I'll be all right, Father. You fly me this time, yeah?
Just my master said it should be all right. So.
I messed up yesterday.
It's all right. It's all right.
Oh. Can I hit the nail in the head? In the head.
I've been waiting. Please do.
You're starting to look more and more like Guruji, you know, in the screen I see.
I look more like him. That's a beautiful compliment. Thank you. Thank you. I just need to do something about my hair.
You do need to do something.
For dreadlocks, you can come.
There is some confusion in my head.
No. Was that like the nail on the head?
Nail in the head. Yeah. Okay, in simple words. Can you maybe shed some light? I bow at your feet and I bow at Guruji's feet.
The light I shared is that I'll see you on Monday, and also that till then, don't think about any nonsense.
Okay.
All evaluation and duality and
Thank you.
thank you. Okay, let's go to Etienne. How is the audio now, by the way? Is it all right?
It's better. It's better. Thank you. It's also because you were speaking quite low also. And maybe you said that once you had two microphones. Maybe there is one is better than the other. I don't know.
No, this is the same one, the better one. But I was really whispering, so this should be better.
It's because of your beard.
Yeah, it's just getting in the way.
Thank you. I just felt to make a quick picture like this because I enjoy so much what you're just getting from us somehow. You just to say I really don't know anything and I really see how much I and many of us are bargaining with God, you know, and so I love very much. It's not about you, and I love very much this. It's the thing for me. So I actually don't know what to say. I just felt to say I don't know, and I feel blessed and by this collective discovery we are going through, and I really trust. I really trust I cannot do anything with my intelligence or whatever to come closer to God, because He's here all the time and I'm just always looking elsewhere. So I feel more and more this like when you say dive, I really feel that, but I know I cannot dive. It will dive, and
that is to know too much.
Yeah. I mean, I cannot decide anything. I mean, I cannot decide it. I cannot evaluate about that. You know.
Even this is to know too much.
Even this, yes. Yeah, right. And I agree. Thank you, because you are just the mirror we need. The mirror we need, because we cannot do it. We cannot do that.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, my dear. Always happy to hear from you. Thank you. Okay, can we go to, I haven't met Kelly before. Can we jump the queue and go to her? Is it working for you? Let me try again. Yes, try now.
Yes.
Namaste.
Namaste, Father.
Namaste, my dear. Take your time.
I'm here for God.
Very good.
I feel this needs this announcement that I'm here. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Very good. I hear you. I hear you. Fully with you in this. Fully with you in this.
And even if I see that there is the spiritual seeker that is also an idea.
Yes.
And that wants to appear in front of you, trying to search for something.
Yeah.
I see it, and I see, and I know that cannot be who I am.
Very good. Very good.
And though there's always a voice saying, oh, there is not enough fire, there's not enough, you've reached a plateau, you know. But there is nothing more than just being here.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Is there something you would not do for God?
Say that again.
Is there anything that you would not do for God?
There's nothing to be done.
Now, suppose there was, would there be something that you would not do?
But God is here.
Yes, and if God suddenly said to you, my child, do this right now, what would you hesitate at?
If this arises from the moment,
Yes.
and it's coming from within without any separation, then that's what I follow.
Very good. Very good. Very good.
It's that kind of final, not to see that separation, you know, the God as another entity. Or
Yes. You don't have to make sense of it.
okay.
You don't have to make sense of it. It's just the emptying of you. God can unravel that in all the mysteries that are available to God. And we cannot truly conceptualize the possibility or the impossibility of something happening as far as it concerns God. So we may have an idea, but it's here or it's like that and this, whatever. But God has a way of unraveling all of that, which is very beautiful. So even the subtlest understanding, which may have been actually helpful along the spiritual path, even that gets squeezed out of us. And then we return to such an infantile innocence that we're just so much in awe every moment that nothing makes sense anymore. And nothing has to. Nothing has to. We cannot become conclusive about anything, even including that. So, I'm very touched to hear from you today, and I feel already something very beautiful. Very good. Do you want to add anything to what you said, or?
Just a gratitude and a joy here.
all my life, all my blessings, Advaita. Thank you.
I often just ponder to this inquiry, what is beyond anything that is perceivable?
Yes. 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 And that imperceptible, unperceivable light in which even the light of consciousness is born, you are aware in this moment. You are aware in this moment without any tools, any phenomenal tools. That intuitive insight then becomes the anchor with which to live a life of faith, live a life in the way of the heart. Because when this self-knowledge is apparent to me in an unperceivable way, then I could not be under the hypnosis of the mind.
I didn't hear the last bit because there was
we can trust the flow that is unfolding as we live in the apparency of this self-knowledge, because my mind could never bring that knowledge, that insight which is beyond perception to me. So I know that it is my heart. And that gives us such a beautiful anchor. And we no longer need to rely on our meaning making and sense making, because we can live in the beautiful light of the being, but even beyond that, in the apparent self-knowledge which is beyond all perception. And there is nothing that can appear in the phenomenal world which forces us to let go of that, because it does not even use our attention. It is not that I have to keep my attention fixated on it, because it is not objective, so it is not attention based. So it is just
it becomes an embodiment. It becomes an embodiment.
Yes, we could say that. We could say that. That we no longer reliant on the ways of the head, and we know that this is the way of the heart, because myself is apparent to me in the supremely mysterious way.
So it's just a prayer. May this seed and your words flourish in all of us.
Yes. Fully with you in this prayer, fully with you in this prayer, and my full blessings to you and to all of us.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you.
Thank you.
There are some children I meet for the first time like this, but I feel like they've forever been with me, and I get feeling with you. So nice. Okay, can we go to Aniko? Aniko, is she laughing already or no? Yes. You good one? Let me try. No? Ah, yes.
Thank you, Ananta-ji.
Oh, my dear.
It seems like it's apparent and I don't really know what to say. There was so much sorrow in my heart at the beginning, but it just came out. It's just so much longing to be with you.
Yes.
Like always, always, always with you, every moment, every second. And I don't really know how much remain from this false me. I think you know it. I don't know it, but
well, I also don't know it. It's unimportant.
It is I I don't want to laugh now, because if I laugh after, I forget everything, and I just want to finish this, because what I feel,
How important is it to know the unimportant?
I just thought until this false me is here, it should be burned forever. Entirely.
It's
Very
unimportant.
quickly. Sorry?
It's unimportant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just feel, Ananta-ji, I'm standing on my own funeral, or
Yeah. Yeah. This is important.
Is it important or not?
Actually, no, but still, I'm human too.
This kind of what to do or what not to do, should do or not important. Is this logging.
God doesn't care about the non-existent one, and the non-existent one is not existent enough to care, so nobody cares. She always inspires this kind of stuff to come from here. She always inspires this kind of stuff to come from.
I didn't understand this.
You didn't understand? God is too busy being God to care about that which doesn't exist. The non-existent one doesn't exist, so how could it care? So who cares?
I did understand this one, just the last sentence.
Yeah.
I'm just fighting not to laugh, because I always feel something is remain here, and
nobody cares.
Ananta-ji. And is nothing about me, okay? But
I'm sure.
My brother, I'm really worried about my brother. And when you ask that,
The one that worries about the brother, nobody worries about her.
Somehow is not fair.
Nobody cares.
Only laughter scene.
Ananta-ji, I was going to Bangalore November,
Yes,
but
yes.
I don't have a vaccination at all. I'm really scared from this kind of vaccination, and it was so much doubt in my head, because I should have a PCR test 72 hours before, and I was thinking about that so much charge about flight tickets and stuff and visum, and what if everything is just, cancelled by a positive COVID test. So I was so much thinking about this, how to do it or not do it, or give it to God or and suddenly I got into the COVID and I get it. And after I was so weak and stuff, and I said, okay, God doesn't want to go. So
I don't like I was caring for a minute there. I was very surprised by the ending of the story. I felt that the problem went away because I got COVID and now I'm over it and now I can just travel easily. But no, apparently the story ended in
no, I don't know. I just said to myself that maybe it's enough to sitting here.
The problem, talk to ourselves much. This other myself said this to me.
I just give it up. Something is just buttering in here to just keep saying is so important. Just tell to Anantaji. At the same time, I just wish to always remember of this, always.
Even that is fully unimportant. I just this and I just that. Throw it away. Nobody cares. Thank you for meeting this with so much openness and laughter, because otherwise to the mind this can seem super strong. But in the way you always meet what I tell you, which actually is very strong medicine, but I'm always appreciative of your openness. Very good.
Thank you, Anantaji, to being with us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Where is the sound? She has a dog.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, Anantaji, once you ask me, what is the dog is doing next to you? And you suppose there is not a dog there, but there was a dog.
There was a dog.
I just didn't want to destroy this.
What is the dog next to? Apparently there was a dog. Many times I say, no, what is this? Non-existent. Are you sure there was a dog?
It is not important.
In India, we have a cat metaphor for that one. She was waiting for that one. Huh? Oh, sweet. What are all these books behind you? Are there books or not?
This one.
Yeah.
Actually, I was growing up in this house. I am in a village now, not in Budapest. And I don't know really, I never. They are just this. But I didn't sit in this position to move myself. I don't want to seem to be so clever to sitting the position of the sofa.
It just ruined the whole philosopher image.
Thank you so much, Ananta.
Let's go to Satyam.
Ananta-ji, namaste.
Over again? Huh? No. Namaste.
Were you talking to me? Did you say something to me?
I was saying to everyone that I'll have to, after this fun conversation, I'll have to light the fire again somehow.
I really don't know what to say to you. I come here in front of you. Sometimes I don't even know why I come to the head, but I come because of the heart. That's all I know. The head freaks out and it has agendas and all that, but some things wants to say that actually you are my heart. I don't know what else to say to you, Ananta.
This is already so much. It's very beautiful. Thank you.
And it's not important, as you said, word. Nothing is important. I see that. But in my life, this whole thing of there's a part which is going on, following an agenda, which is off the head. But there's a guilt or mind where you're following the head agenda, and yet I come here before you.
So this is a very common tactic from the mind, and we've discussed this a few times, where suppose you realize that it's only under the hypnosis of a thought does the self seem to not be apparent to you.
Yeah.
Does your heart seem to not be apparent to you? So then what we say is that we are going to take a fast. We're going to go on a fast. We are not going to consume any of these thoughts anymore. So first what happens is that the mind sends us some very light seeming thought, like salad thoughts. You're on a fast, but it's a salad, you can eat it. How can it hurt? You see? Something like that. You see? But once you eat the salad, then it sends the dessert. You see? It says, see, you were supposed to be on a fast. How did you eat the salad? You see? So that one has much more calories of identification. You see? So first, forget about the guilt. All your guilt, everything is washed away if you retreat into your heart immediately. But remember that this offer expires now. You cannot use it for a future use. Otherwise, the tendency is to say, okay, now this is very convenient because I can just come into my heart anytime. So that means right now, I can belong to the falseness, I can follow the mind. You see, but no, it's not true. It has to be done now. This is the crunch time. This is the moment. Right now. It's all gone. Doesn't matter what happened before this. You're with God, you're in God's light. All is wiped clean. You're like an infant that is just born.
Yeah.
Now you stay. Now you stay. This is very beautiful. This is in a way, read something very beautiful recently, and they were saying that in the Bible, that John the Baptist used to baptize in the holy water of the River Jordan. But then Jesus came along and he used to baptize in the Holy Spirit of the heart.
Wow, so beautiful.
You are born again in your heart instantly with the power of the presence that is there. But you cannot postpone this.
I really don't know what to tell, what to say.
It's good because it's unimportant.
I just wish that may your presence stay with me, with my life. that this love affair with you or with the heart,
yes.
By God's grace, stay here.
Yes. Yes. All my life, all my presence.
Thank you so much.
Let's go to Samia.
Hi, Father.
Dear.
Hello.
It's very good. Sometimes what happens is that in this seeming journey from head to heart, sometimes as we are tasting the beauty of the way of the heart, there's so much. We can't even call it joy, beyond joy, just such a different way to live. And then our momentary visits or our little bit of escapades and adventures into the way of the head, they can seemingly cause a lot of trouble with this like 1-2 punch, like you were saying, with the guilt coming and things like this. But the good news is that we can anchor ourselves in our heart, in the beautiful self-knowledge which is apparent to us now. And even if that seems a little abstract for some of you, you can just hang on to the presence of being. Because you could not delude yourself when you are in front of the presence of your being. So that magnet is available with us, that anchor is available with us, which is such a great blessing. So then in that instant, all that has happened, everything in the past, all of that becomes unimportant. Unimportant. The mind will still try to push some narrative like a drug. Is he saying, come, now don't go too far. I got something that will make you feel better. We'll make a nice story out of this. And we'll wallow in misery like we used to in the old days. But now that way of life, the way of the head, will start seeming too alien to us, too different. And we don't want to live in that familiar sort of suffering just because it is familiar. So, little bit roller coaster is all right, but your anchor is in your heart. What is the but still? Is there a but still?
No, like, yeah, like, I feel to say, yeah, like, I like, nothing remains here, Father, other than the presence of being. Like, I don't know anything, and like nothing left, really, nothing left, which my mind also can hold on to. Nothing left. It's this is little battle for me for now, because yeah, there is only one thing that I can do, is just be here. And I don't know, I think I was resisting to this, and yeah, my days are passing by this resistance to accept this simple thing, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
And all this burning is auspicious because in this friction, in this tension between head and heart, only the ego gets burned. Only the ego gets burned and sacrificed. As we are going through this, I don't like the term so much, but I'll use it for now, which is this transition period from head to heart. Sometimes the friction can happen. But the good news is that that burning is very auspicious because it burns only the faults.
Yeah, for days actually, I don't listen Guruji or do meditation, and yet I don't want to say it's a guilt or something, but all day I'm just on Instagram. Like, I really just lay down, do nothing, full Instagram, like nothing, and
Doom scrolling.
yeah, I
I think there's a term for that called doom scrolling. Is it like this?
What?
That's okay. It's not important.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to share, because days are passing like this for 2 weeks actually. I'm just doing nothing.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Somehow.
Now, as long as whatever's happened in the past has happened in the past.
Yeah.
But now you have to fully come back to your heart.
How?
How is all of satsang today is the how.
No, I couldn't hear the full sentence.
Yes, now I say you have to fully return to your heart.
Yeah.
And you can smell your heart now. You can smell your heart now. So unless your heart guides you and says, spend your time on Instagram, don't do it.
Spend your time?
On Instagram or whatever the social media thing. Follow your heart. If it says, spend your whole day on Instagram, then only then do. Does it seem like a sacrifice? Does it sound like a
Sorry,
sacrifice?
no, I didn't understand what did you said.
I said it doesn't matter that whatever has happened
But
in 2 weeks
it's not.
doesn't matter. Now you can hear or no?
Yeah, I can hear. I have some problem with understanding, but yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
So you said that you've not been in satsang, you've only been on Instagram all day. So what I'm telling you is that it doesn't matter what has happened in the past. What is important is now. Now stay in God's light in your heart, which you can palpably, tangibly confirm now because you've been in satsang long enough. So stay in that light, and in the light of God's presence, everything can unfold naturally, which means the presence itself can direct the action. And it is directing the whole universe anyway. But in the times where you feel like you need a decision, should I go to Instagram or not? You can check in with your heart. You see? And if you don't get an answer, then stay quiet. So that is the way to live in faith, to live in the heart. There's nothing too small or too big to take to God.
To take to
God. See? Because sometimes it can feel like, how can I take Instagram to God? No, because Instagram has taken 2 weeks away from God. So you can take Instagram to God. Yes?
I think I don't understand English. This English, I don't understand what you say. I don't know.
I see. So what you could do is you could rewatch the recording, and
I will.
if it's confusing, then let's see. We can talk again.
Okay.
Because many times it is not the English actually, but it's the mind which doesn't want you to hear. That is why recordings are also helpful, because you rewatch it. As long as the audio was clear, can everybody else indicate to me that the audio was fine as I was speaking?
But just
Yeah, it becomes like, we've seen this for so long, and Guruji has talked about it also so long that the mind will just go, can't hear anything. Most of my kids in Sangha have told me at various times that I can't hear you. But I feel
I
like
hear, but I cannot understand. Yeah.
so. So that is one good thing about technology, at least, that we have the recording, and I feel like the instructions were pretty clear. So you could rehear those and see if there's trouble after that. Where did you go? Where did you go? In the pause.
I don't know. I just thought, yeah, yeah.
That's a beautiful statement, actually. If you said what I heard, which was that I just thought. Did you say that?
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I just thought and I cried. That is inevitable. Only sometimes the gap is not so immediate. Is it? Okay, somebody said they have low battery, so they're exiting. I also feel like this a bit right now. So let's quickly hear what the others are saying. And then I will also have a low battery exit soon. Let's go to Sumit.
Hello, Namaste, Father.
Again.
It has been a few months since I spoke to you, so I just wanted to come up and say hello and thank you. Since last few satsangs, you have been kind of inviting us to leave the armchair spirituality and to offer ourselves fully. Yeah. So my prayer is that you grant me the courage and the wisdom to value what is on the offer. And
I join you in this prayer, and if it is one Guru's will, if it is God's will, may the highest be apparent to you, and may you have the courage and the strength to follow your heart, no matter what the external conditions and surroundings may be. I'm fully with you on this.
thank you.
Thank you, my Lord. So let's go to Shrikant.
Hi, Father.
Hello.
I don't have anything to say, but just felt like coming up.
Very good. Very good.
After this instruction from your Father, from the last time, somehow I feel the power of my mind has come down.
Yes.
Most of the time, I don't take my mind seriously, and then even if something happens, and then when this guilt comes, even I can see that it's the second punch of my mind.
Very good. Very good. What was the homework? What was the instruction? Please remind me. I forgot.
To take everything that life throws at me as God's will.
Yes.
Then don't take seriously how this body behaves.
Yes. I think this is very good. You can keep going like this. I already see, and your report tells me that it is helping. So very good.
Your grace, Father.
Full love, full blessings. we'll quickly move along before the battery goes completely down. Thank you. Very good. To Audrone.
Namaste, Father.
Yeah.
I felt that I have to make a confession.
Yeah.
Because you mentioned a few times today about postponing, and that your instructions are for now. They you said something like they expire, something like this. And there's a constant habit that I have to, even while listening to the satsang, I know I can rewatch it. Now I can do some things, not pay attention, just, and I constantly do this. I don't know what to say more.
Yeah, you are here. It's good. I feel like you're spotting the tricks of the mind and the subtle resistances from the mind, which even seem like resistances sometimes. So,
yes.
Coming to your light. It's very good.
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
You're welcome.
I'm very happy to be here. Very, very happy.
Very good. I'm very happy to have you here. All my life. And you have a daughter as well.
Yes, I have 3 kids, 2 sons and 1 daughter.
To all of them, to your whole family as well. All my love.
Thank you.
Okay, last one. Let's go to Sylvia. Oh, Sylvia vanished. There you are. Did I press the wrong button?
Namaste, Father. There are some, I don't know, I felt to come in front of you just to...
There are some, what were you going to say? Just say it, don't worry.
Yeah, for example, I felt that it's from God that to raise my hand, but I'm not sure if the ego just wants attention, or I don't know. But on the other hand, it's something in my heart that I don't know, just want to, I don't know, to stay in my own idea and to say, oh, I'm good, I'm doing good, and tra-la-la, and not to...
I see. I hear you. Yes. So if I ask you, are you living in God's light? What would your answer be?
Yes.
It's very good. Do you feel like something gets in your way?
You spoke about that seemingly decision or like life presenting.
Yes.
And when it comes like some situations and somehow the position,
yes.
I go maybe, I don't know, I'm not clear in that times about who I am.
I see. So you're saying that when these times to make seemingly important decisions or life decisions comes, then it seems like you may refer back to the head. Is that it?
Yes, sometimes yes. Yes.
Yes. So to notice that already is good. But remember that all guidance, all that we need to know, everything can appear also from the greater intelligence, which is your intuitive insight, the Sadguru presence. And you never have to feel like, oh, that cannot speak or that cannot take action, because the sharing of satsang is evidence for you to show you how the heart can use this instrument of the body. So in the same way, all of life can be run from the heart, from your intuitive intelligence. And even the decisions, especially the decisions which the mind says, no, this one we have to figure out, like conceptually, God can't do it. It won't say God can't do it. It'll say, no, this is either too small or too big to really leave it to the heart. So may these words be a reminder to you not to waver from your heart, from your intuitive presence, even no matter what the circumstances may be. And if you do end up going to your head, not to beat yourself up about it, but to retreat into your heart.
Something is like, I feel like it's like a censorship, or like if I'm doing what is in my heart, maybe I'll be too bold, or maybe I'll be considered arrogant, or maybe or I'm doing like what I feel in my heart, and after this episode or this section, mine came very strongly to beat self-image up, and the next time I say, oh, if I'm doing this, mind will come and will beat me up, and because of this I'm not doing this. So
yes, so this is the mind's trick. Actually, the mind can never beat you up. It can just offer you things with which you beat yourself up. See, the mind is just a bundle of thoughts, so it has no capacity to beat you up. See? But it does make those proposals saying that no, but this was, you're being arrogant, or you're being disrespectful, or you're being whatever. These judgments can come. But you have my word on this. Trust me on this, that you have to follow your heart unwaveringly, as strange as the heart's guidance may seem. So don't allow your mind to come and make judgments about you, because you're doing it on my behalf. Okay, look at it this way, that you're doing it on my behalf. When you follow your heart, you're doing it on my behalf. So if the mind has to take up some problem with someone, let it take it up with me. You are not being arrogant, I am being arrogant. You are not being whatever, it's mine too. You're under my safety when you follow your heart. So everything you do from your heart, I am responsible for it. And if someone is deluded, then it is me. If somebody is being arrogant, it is me. Everything then belongs to me. It's no longer your problem to worry about. And this goes for everyone. You have done your job by going to your heart. The rest of it is none of your business.
And for example, in some days action come, like to be fully in this life, somehow what is inside, it's outside somehow. And in some days it's like no action at all. It's like retreating from everyone else. And I'm not sure if in that moment I'm doing the right thing, because not to be like in an idea of spiritual, oh, I'm sitting all day and the world is not real. But
yes. So the question of right and wrong and good and bad cannot be resolved in the intellect ever. And for thousands and thousands of years, the smartest intellects in the world have tried to resolve this. What is good and what is bad and what is right and what is wrong. But it is unresolvable over there. So then the only strong foundation we can have in our life is when we follow something clearly and unwaveringly, even if the instruction doesn't make sense, or what is appearing in the light of God's presence naturally doesn't make sense to the mind. You have to follow that, and that is your strength of your foundation then. That without being concerned with all the interpretation and judgment from the mind, you can just follow your heart, and that is the only right and that is the only good. So it's very, very simple actually, but sometimes it does not seem so easy. But as you get used to it, it will seem easy as well. So, and the heart can work both ways. Like, was it yesterday? I was saying that yesterday I didn't have any intention. I felt like I will work from home. And then suddenly I just felt guided in the heart to go to the office. So then suddenly just I got up, had a bath and left for the office. I went there. And the second part of the story I was saying even yesterday is not important, but because it worked out in this way, I'm going to share that as I went to the office and I went to my room, I met somebody who came to meet my wife, and she was somebody who came to Satsang like 7-8 years back. She would come, and we were both so sweetly surprised to see each other. So it was very beautiful and it worked out so nicely. But I'm saying that follow the heart even when these things don't have to happen necessarily. Trust it, because sometimes, in fact, all the times, the reasons that our rational intellect can make about these things can never really fathom what anything is for. So trust your heart. So if it says to you, lie down, then lie down. If it says to you, go do this, then go do this. If it doesn't say anything at all, remain in the light of the presence and allow the action directly to happen in that light without the intervention of your mind. That's actually a very simple way to live. Okay, I feel like I'm going to have to end now because clearly I can sense the body is losing all. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Satguru Shri Moji Baba ki Jai. Guru Kripa Kevalam.